Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. In our program, we keep reminding you that Chinese communists pay much attention to propaganda, and this kind of attention has developed to yet another level, to that of a cognitive warfare. And their main targets for this cognitive warfare are, of course, Taiwan, the United States, and Japan. Because of the time limit of our program, let's focus on Taiwan today. And for Taiwan, they have three main purposes. The first one is to divide up Taiwan from the inside. They try to create conflict or confrontation between the KMT and the DPP, namely the Kuomintang Party or the Nationalist Party and the Democratic Progressive Party. They try to provoke them into fighting each other and forget about the Communist Party altogether. And then they also try to harbor suspicion about President Lai Ching-te and harbor suspicion about DPP, the ruling party, and they try to harbor suspicion about Nationalist Party, the KMT. And that's to divide up Taiwan from the inside. Secondly, they try to weaken or undermine Taiwan's international status or Taiwan's international image. And thirdly, they try to drive a wedge between Taiwan and the United States. A very recent issue testifies to these observations. A few weeks ago, the AIT, the American Institute in Taiwan, made an announcement saying that documents like Cairo Declaration or Potsdam Proclamation or San Francisco Peace Treaty did not determine the final political status of Taiwan. And the AIT accused Beijing of deliberately distorting history, trying to isolate Taiwan, undermine Taiwan's international status through misrepresentation of these historical documents. Well, I suppose that most American audience may not know that AIT's announcement has caused much debate, well, perhaps much discussion, much heated discussion in Taiwan. I understand why the AIT did this. They tried to refute Beijing's misrepresentation of these documents, and they tried to counter Beijing's efforts in fighting a cognitive warfare against Taiwan. Actually, it was Beijing that started the whole issue. On August the 15th, Mr. Wang Yi, the foreign minister of Communist China, who publicly said that according to documents like Cairo Declaration, Potsdam Proclamation, and San Francisco Peace Treaty, Japan's warm responsibility has been confirmed. And the documents demanded Japan to return all the territories stolen from China, return to China, including Taiwan and the pescadores. And they also say, let me read this out. This represents the unchallengeable fruits of victory in the world's anti-fascist war and an important component of the post-war international order. Let me say this. The wording of the statement is correct. What is not correct is the subject. It was returned to China, but not to People's Republic of China. It was the Republic of China that all these territories stolen from Japan were returned to. Let me say it again. All these territories are supposed to return to the Republic of China, the legitimate China recognized by the entire world by the time of 1945. The end of the Second World War. I remember I have pointed out to you that Chinese communists love to promote different main theme or themes at different times. And very recently, they've been promoting the idea or the themes of so-called 3 80th anniversaries. The first one is, of course, the victory over Japanese aggression. The second, 80th anniversary of Taiwan's retrocession. And the third one, the 80th anniversary of UN's establishment. By combining these three, Beijing goes on to say that Taiwan's retrocession to China is the victorious fruit of the Second World War, and it's an integral part of the post-war international order. Then comes the AIT rebuttal, as we mentioned earlier at the beginning of this episode. And of course, Communist China would not stop here. They start another round of attack, and this time they use the Chinese language, primarily targeting at Taiwan and also targeting at the Chinese-speaking audience around the world. And here are the main attacking points. First, they attack the United States of having tampered with historical documents. And secondly, United States is manipulating cross-Taiwan Strait conflicts. Thirdly, the United States has offered the Taiwan independence advocates or supporters a poisonous bone to lick on. And fourthly, some have accused the United States of deviating from its position on Taiwan sovereignty as stated in 6 assurances made by President Reagan in 1982. And lastly, they accused the United States of arming Taiwan to encourage independence or leveraging Taiwan to check China's rise. And this is what I call the typical skepticism toward the United States and driving an edge between Taiwan and the United States. This round of cognitive warfare can be traced back to the controversy over Resolution 2758, namely United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 passed in 1971, which says that Chiang Kai-shek's representatives should be expelled from the United Nations and all the affiliated organizations and institutions. Let me call your attention to the wording. This is the representative of Chiang Kai-shek's, not the representatives of the Republic of China's nor the Taiwan's. So that leaves a room for today's discussions and debates. And we also mentioned that surrounding this controversy over Resolution 2758, the State Department of the United States has come forward to make multiple announcements. They say that first, this Resolution 2758 does not expel Taiwan from international participation. It does not recognize Taiwan as part of the People's Republic of China. And then the United States go on to say they support Taiwan for meaningful participation in the United Nations system and affiliated technological institutions and organizations such as WHO. The United States also calls on the United Nations and its affiliated organizations not to misuse this Resolution 2758 to expel Taiwan from international participation. This position of the United States has been echoed by leading countries in the world, leading democracies in the world. For instance, the UK, Germany, Czech Republic, Lithuania, and Australia. So by now, it should be very obvious that AIT's announcement is to help Taiwan counter Beijing's cognitive warfare and to help Taiwan expand its international space. So the question is, what can Taiwan do to respond to this challenge? On the government side, we have noticed there are government officials who come forward to make verbal clarifications, multiple clarifications. I think this is good, but it would be better if accompanied by releasing more official documents. That would be even better. And on the other hand, we have noticed some not so good response to the question. It has become a topic or an issue for inter-party struggles or inter-party competitions. It has become a question of dividing up Taiwan society from the inside. And that's also why scholars like us come forward to make clarification as much as we can. And what can the American government do to respond to this question? Well, they have made some oral clarification. That's good. Again, it would be better if accompanied by releasing more official documents and even sending some documents to UN and some affiliated organizations. And secondly, I suppose that the AIT, the American Institute in Taiwan, can have more dialogue with the skepticals in Taiwan, those who are skeptical about the United States' position on this issue. And thirdly, I would suggest the United States be on guard against Communist China on questions or issues like their lobbying efforts, their United Front efforts, and their bribery efforts targeting at mass media, social media, congressmen, and of course, influencers. So as a conclusion, I think it's a good thing for Washington and Taipei have more communications and more dialogues. It's of vital importance, not only to exchange ideas, exchange information, try to identify questions and challenges, and to collaborate to work out effective responses to the challenges. I know this is tough. This is a tough battle, and this is a battle that we have to win. Otherwise, we and our children will have to live under communist reign. And I don't think it's something that you want to see. Well, I think that's all I want to share with you.